Good evening. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. We're going to be talking about a different topic tonight. We've already covered in weeks past belief, commitment, work, and we'll probably revisit some of those topics because we definitely need to get it down pat and get our feet firmly set on the ground. And that way we can be of better use to our family, to our community, to our jobs, and to one another. So life is built on relationships, and they always say if a ship ain't taking you nowhere, you need to get off of it. So we're a group of men that are meeting every week, every Wednesday, from 8 to about 9. And the idea is to create some relationship that can help move us forward and elevate ourselves so that we're in a good position to take care of our family and to do what we were put here to do, provide and protect. So with that in mind, we have Brother Thomas and Brother Johnson on the line. And you guys were having a conversation before I hit the recording. So please continue.
Right. So yeah, to sum it up, life can be challenging sometimes, but Psalms 37:5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do this." So I think we was talking the other day about being swayed, and when people got other things going on and they frantic, and sometimes that stuff can catch you off guard. But you got to lock back in, pray, and then remember, that you guys tried and that everything will be taken care of, and you'll see magnificent things happen. And that's what took
Absolutely.
place for us this week. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you say catch you off guard because without preparation, you're going to constantly be caught off guard. And one of the best preparatory, uh, preparatory things you could do is to get control of your vessel. I think last time I said uh, a person can't get your goat if they don't know where it's tied up at.
Right.
So you do need to figure out, learn, develop that ability to look, listen, and critically think about the situation before you react. In fact, if you go back to January 18th, 2018, I believe, I did a video on affirmations, and one of them says, I do not react, I act. So that means I got to be in control of myself before I allow you to do something, say something that causes me to react. I have to be in control of my vessel.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead, Brother Johnson. You were talking.
No, no, I'm listening. No, I'm listening. I'm feeding. I'm feeding this what y'all giving out. I'm I'm sorry. I'm taking in what y'all giving out. Yeah, I'm taking it in. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm saying I'm feeding. I'm taking it in. I'm sorry.
Well, a lot of people want to push our button, as I say, get our goat, because that gives them an excuse to further suppress, misuse, or uh, to do things to you. So you have to be composed. You have to maintain your composure. You have to be in control of your vessel, especially when we're talking about the obstacles and the challenges that we have as men. So whether it's at home or at work or friends or whomever, you gotta be in control of yourself.
So before anything, you got to be in control of yourself, no matter what. Right?
But everything starts with us, doesn't it?
It starts with us, and it's I'm as you saying that, and I'm thinking. That's why you so I when you talk, I listen because I didn't never really just thought of that until you said that, and it's so true. It's so true. And I'm thinking of that right now. I'm like, wow, wow. You don't realize until I guess somebody actually said, you know, out loud. And
I
that,
don't
that's
put
that's
nothing,
that's
I don't put anything bad on you, but you're driving, you're going home, I take it. You hit that front door and your wife hits you with bam, bam,
right.
bam, and you react to it.
Yeah, react, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, like
Yes.
Romans 12 and 2, one of the famous ones, and be not conformed to this world. So that story that I was saying, things is gonna happen. She was saying things that could have caught off guard, but it says,
Mm,
but be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind, you know, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect in the will of God. So connecting in these calls, like Brother Johnson was saying, I like it because it keep you sharp. It keep you on your toes, it keep you ready to go and deal with the world for the remaining of the week. Just like Sunday, going to church, and just like our other meetings, we're keeping each other, on guard on what's taking place. That
I,
Tyler.
right.
I have been told over the years I am harsh, I talk rude to people, or rough to people, especially women. And I'm going, am I really saying being that rough and gruff, or am I just saying what's true?
What is something that you said that they say is rough and gruff?
What is something? You ask me what is something?
Yeah, give me an example of one.
Oh man,
One of them
I
Herbert Wares.
think,
The first Herberts.
yeah, I wish I can't remember it all, but I get one thing was my wife and I can go somewhere and I introduce her, this is my wife, and they will say, make comments like, how do you put up with him? Now that is a subtle negative. And what I'm gonna have to do is give her an answer.
Right.
Okay, because
And
she's
some
not
people
up.
actually like that though.
What?
Ladies.
Yes.
Other ladies
Yeah.
actually like that. That's they way of, saying if you can't handle it, I got it. My wife be real quick with no, don't even comment over here. You stay over there. You don't want none of that extra flack coming from them.
But
So
you see, the thing about it is this. Many years ago, probably about 20 years ago, this young lady, sharp young lady, she said I was a male chauvinist. I said, absolutely. I am a card carrying male chauvinist kid, and I'm proud of it. And I said, let me ask you a question. If you are broke down on the side of the road, would you rather call one of them your vanilla men you know, or would you rather call somebody like me? She said, I'm going to call somebody like you. I asked why. She said, because I know you going to come. That vanilla guy, Nancy, as my daughter would say, okay, soft guy, sugarcoating, all kinds of things to get in his way. So she admitted when it came down to needing something, she would prefer a man that I'm going to say is a man and not a male. And the same holds true on your job. When they ask you to do something, or it's something within your uh, job description, are you allowed to come back and say it's hard?
get it done.
You know, if you're going to be a man, be a man. So, at any rate, you know, as far as this work is concerned, and being committed and so forth, the thing that we did not talk about was having faith in your performance. You know, having an expectation, an air of expectancy. Have y'all ever heard that term? Air of expectancy.
Yes.
A whole nother trash day. Been out there that long.
You trying to get the trash in, brother?
My bad. You know, my son, yeah, the trash. Yeah, you know. I'm
How old is
sorry. 14.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it all starts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought
No, the thing about it is this, and that's right on time because uh, teenagers need to learn
Oh
what the
yeah.
job is and how to do what needs to be done.
Oh yeah. I don't shoot. Look here. Hey, I was cutting grass. I was picking up cans. I done all that.
I was watching one of these TikTok deals where the guy came into his son's room. Son was a teenager
Uh-huh.
with one of them hefty bags of trash. Came in and threw it in the room. Okay, and so the father told his son, asked why he threw that trash in there. The father said, "Well, I guess he couldn't see it or didn't see it that it needed to be taken out. So I thought
Oh.
I'd help you."
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to help.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, you after a couple of bags being thrown in there, what is he gonna do?
Get rid of.
Exactly.
So they're gonna start spanking after a day or two.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you'll probably get talked about by your wife.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But again, how do we make men?
Oh man. Getting them starting them young working. Hey, respect. You know, and start with respect. And getting them out there, you know, this is what I tell my son. And you know, I kind of quiz him how you kind of do us, Grand. You
Yeah,
know, I take a page out your book and I quiz him. I say, what you see me do every day? He's like, what you talking about? I say, what do you see me do every morning, every day? You get up, you get up. No, I get up and go to work. I get up and go to work to take care of you and my family. You know, real men get up and go to work to take care of their family and everything. You know, and I once tell him he don't like touching trash cans. So I say, homeboy, you might need to stay in college because hey, in the real world, sometimes you got to touch a little trash to get where you need to get. You know, so I give him all kind of little quizzes and everything and try to keep him on his toes and just, hey man, respect goes a long way. You
yeah,
know, it goes goes a long way, and you big on that real respect. I kind of see, you know, and you go different angles with it with their respect, you know. So I take bits and pieces of what you say, and I like to say adapt it to my everyday living and everything, you
you
know.
know, how can I respect you if you
Right,
don't do what you're supposed to do?
right, exactly, exactly,
How
exactly.
can I respect you?
Right, exactly.
I'm talking to you rough,
Yep.
so
Look at
you
him.
say I'm disrespecting
He taking out the trash now, Grand. Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yes.
talking rough to you, and you tell me I'm disrespecting you, but you
Right.
haven't done what you were supposed to do.
Right. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, I got my grandson is over at Texas Tech,
Oh
and I
yes.
told him he was talking about working,
Uh-huh.
okay, while he's in college.
Right.
And I told him, your job
Yes.
is college.
It's college. Exactly.
It ain't flipping burgers or delivering Domino pizza.
Right.
That's your job.
Right.
So you need to do that first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. We got to teach our boys and go back and try and teach some of these men
Oh,
how to
yes.
get their priorities straight.
Yes. Correct.
You know, if I want to be respected, I have to act respectful. And that means I
Exactly.
have to adhere to what men uh, was designed to do. I have to do
Right.
what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Okay. And that way, as I said in the meeting we had this past weekend, you gonna hold me accountable for what my job is.
All right.
But then, if your son's job is to take out the trash,
Uh-huh.
then he shouldn't talk about respect if he's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Exactly. Right.
Bottom line.
Bottom line, yeah.
So we gotta start them early,
Oh no, I start them
understanding.
early.
I
Yes.
hear you, but I'm talking about
Yes.
in
Oh no, you're
general,
right. Oh, in general, correct.
because a
Correct.
lot of these kids talk to their parents like they're on the same level.
Oh no. That see mine know it gets to that point, I'm gonna make a dentist appointment because they're gonna have to go see a dentist. Oh yeah, I'm making a dentist appointment, and I'm not saying this to be bullying them. It just it's back to respect because they're gonna have to make a dentist appointment.
Well, I remember hearing a story where this guy had whipped his child, and the boy called the 911. So they picked up the father and they had set up a court date.
Uh-huh.
And so when it was the day to go to court, the father took a suitcase and packed up all the boy's clothes and went to court.
Right.
And when the
Hello,
judge
brothers.
started talking,
Uh,
okay, he listened and he said, Your Honor, here's the deal. If I can't discipline my son, I have his suitcase right here. You can take him with you.
take them with you.
Needless to say, him and his son left out of the courtroom together.
Oh no, they did.
Okay.
No, they did. Yeah.
Hello, brothers. How
How you
you
doing,
How
guys
you
brother? How you
doing?
doing,
doing, brother?
John Moore?
I'm doing all right, brother.
Good. Anything challenging happen? Any testimonies for the week?
Um, yeah. I've been doing my due diligence. Keeping my faith and working hard, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And the reason I'm late to the meeting tonight, man, I just got off a Medicare enrollment call. So things are on the up and up because like we're doing what we say we're doing. We're asking God, the Father, the Most High. We're putting it out there, telling them what we want, what we demand, and we like the theme that we've been going with, like from that last week, putting in the work. And I'm doing my due diligence, man, to put in the work, and that work is producing results.
Okay. Outstanding. Brother Thomas,
I'm here. I'm here. I'm trying to get
you
this
had
video
said
going.
something about you had an appointment or something, and they were hemming and hawing on it or something. Did you
Right,
ever finish
right.
that story?
Yeah, so it ties into the testimony part, but um more of the story is a lot of stuff going on in the economy, and they were, feeling as if certain things couldn't get done due to that. But when the conversation was over, we wrapped up and got a contract with the trade line company, so that was good. And then another testimony that I got is for one of my clients. They was told that it would take all year, to get their credit restored. Um, and with God, God in my company, we was able to get it restored and increased over 120 points across the board, in less
Awesome.
than 4 months. So that's real good. And I try to like to keep visual proof with me when I do stuff. So this was, I don't know if you guys can see it.
You got their name blacked out?
Yeah, I got it blocked out.
Okay.
I gotta respect their privacy.
Yeah.
So you guys just,
Oh, we take your word for it.
Yeah, we can't see
yeah.
it because it's disappearing.
Well, I'll just show you, right? So this one right here, the TransUnion, that was at 538, and we got it up to 710. So that was a tremendous play for them. And then for the Equifax is 501 and got it up to 669. And the client themselves had a lower standard. So, again, with God's help, we was able to supersede that. But y'all can
Yeah.
see the
Excellent.
results in it.
Excellent.
So that was good. So, in the process, like we was talking about, things come up and stuff try to sway us and distract us. And if you let it, it'll slow you down, but you got to stay with it. And so I was digging through, looking for some scriptures, and Jeremiah 29:11 came up. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord's plans to prosper you and
Hmm.
not harm you, right? And give you a future, and give you a hope and give you future."
That's right.
So I try to, get those scriptures and refill me when certain things come up to keep me going and keep me pushing to cross that finish line. Not only for myself and my family, but for the clients that we service. So that was real good, and I wanted to get that done before this time specifically, so we was able to get that taken care of.
Brother, that's how I was feeling like with the stuff that I had going on. Trying to, I'm like, yeah, I definitely got to have my results for my meeting because we say we believe what we believe, and we're not on our time, we're on God's time. So even if it didn't come through, but I'm glad that I was able to contribute something because I'm like I said, we're diligently doing what we're supposed to do, what's being required of us, because with faith without work is dead.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I was glad, and I was in the middle of my call, and when I saw that the young lady was like she wasn't going to do an enrollment right now, but she didn't get off the phone. She was like, "Yeah, we can do it in the morning." I don't know if she felt like it was too late, but she said, "Definitely, I want to do it in the morning." And bro, I was so excited. I'm like, "Let me go ahead and get on my me. Ain't nothing else to talk about. We talked about everything else. She got to have it. She has to have it. She
Right,
can't, so it's already in the bag."
right. And so what Grant set us up with, a basketball, we call it an alley-oop, but that era of expectancy, if you a dog, if you a warrior, if somebody put a challenge out there, you go accomplish it either before or right at that finish line.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's what took place. They go with challenge. Can you come to the table with a testimony? Can you accomplish something within this time span?
Right.
You either go back out or you go, you know what? Let me secure that. Let me execute that. Let me take those steps that I need. And then also, it allows you to establish a relationship that much more with God because you can't do it without him.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why I wanted to be for sure put emphasis on getting that done with God's help.
Yes, sir.
And you got to keep your eyes open. You got to be able to see the steps and the process and appreciate the process
Yes, sir.
because everything operates by way of a process. And the air of expectancy is a fancier way of saying, I have faith.
Mm.
I know it's coming. Therefore, I'm going to continue to work. Because if you expect something to happen, why would you sit down?
Yes, sir.
So it's, again, regardless of how these Wednesdays turn out, you want to get whatever information your brother has to offer because all of it is feeding your cycle, your life cycle. So, and you mentioned time. That is the one thing that God gives to all of us equally. Now,
It's time.
we might have different talents. We might have different purposes and assignments, but time, He gives it to us equally. So the big question is, we've talked about belief, we've talked about commitment, we talked about work, and when we add time to it, okay, how do you use your time? There's two things you definitely need to respect. Is outstanding, sir. It is you should respect God and respect time.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I read something that says the great rule of moral conduct is next to God to respect time, because nothing belongs to us except time. That's the only thing you have. The only way I can take your time is kill you. Other than that, I'm either going to help you benefit from your time, or I'm going to hurt you, waste your time.
Absolutely. It's like watering a plant. And now when it's a grove. The photosynthesis process. You have a tree, it's small, you get the water, the sunlight, and what we say the CO2 and time. And then it grows. And in that process, when it's a seed, it dies and then it gets big. The tree can flourish. But when it gets real good, it starts to bear fruit.
Yes, sir. So it's important. It's very, very important that we spend our time properly.
Yes, sir.
And many people will cause you or try and get you to waste your time. Or they don't do it on purpose. They just don't have anything important enough for you to allocate your time to. So that leads us to another topic, and that is boundaries. How do you set boundaries? I can remember talking to people about my process in the mornings when I explain that I come into my office and sit in the dark, drink my coffee, and just in solitude pray or listen. Because if you're always praying and never listening, you're not going to get too much of anything anyway. So you got to pray and then listen for the answers. And at the same time, my grandchildren learned, my wife learned, everybody that I've been around learned, you don't talk to me during that time. That's my quiet time. That's when I send out information, I get information, ideas, whatever the case may be. That's my quiet time. That's a boundary you don't cross. Do you have boundaries? And I'm asking y'all.
Yeah, I do. Like when I'm driving, I don't pretty much listen to music anymore and things like that because I'm used to traveling long distances for work. Like when I used to do electrical work and things like that, I used to, living in West Palm Beach, I would have to drive to Hollywood, Florida, which is an hour away sometime. And as I'm getting older, I start realizing I like quiet, so I don't answer my phone. Or if somebody see me with a book, sometimes I don't even have to be reading. They see me with a book at home, they know not to bother me because they know I'm trying to get my mind right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But in the midst of people, do you set boundaries with people?
Yeah, I do. Me personally, I let people know what I'm saying, what line not to cross with me. And I'm better at it now as I've gotten older. And I don't want to say was a yes man, but we're taught in our community that if you're polite, if you're kind, you do this and do this and that for everybody, but then you end up letting people hurt you and walk all over you. And after so much of that, I'm like, nah, man, it don't make sense to me. I don't want nothing to do with that right now. Or period. Don't come to me. Like
Mhm.
it done label it done got to the point they label me mean where I be like, nah, I don't want to do. I'm like, I'm mean because I won't let you take advantage of me. I'm not doing what you want me to do, or what. Yeah, I'm not doing what you want me to do, so that makes me mean.
Yeah, we started on that conversation before you got on, where I was telling them how people say that I am rough and mean, and
Yeah.
I talk to, especially women, I talk to them rough,
Oh
and
man,
I'm not soft enough. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
I get that all the time now.
My question is always the same. Did I tell you the truth?
Hmm.
I love saying, eat the meat, throw away the bone.
Right.
If I told you the truth is the meat,
Right.
okay? So you ignore everything else other than the meat, because the meat is where the nutrients are.
Right.
And if I am going to, as a man, if you are as a man, gotta watch every phrase and how you say everything and how you approach people, and you gotta sugarcoat everything, then are you really being a man?
Hmm.
That's the question to you. Are you?
Nah, I don't think so because people only tolerate you when you're doing what they want you to do. Because if because real men don't just go along. In my opinion, you don't go along to get along.
Okay. Yeah, that's what my pastor said. A lot of men just go along to get along.
Yeah.
And now I'm not advocating we just blurt out and shout and fuss and cuss a person.
Right.
That's not the way to do it. However, um, as I said before, if you got children and you tell them to do something in a nice way, how quick do they respond to it?
Not quick enough. They don't move with a sense of urgency.
So you have to come back a little rougher.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, I was many times we have things on our mind as to what needs to be done. So something cannot happen until something else happens first. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, your process. You know, like Johnson was talking about trash. Hey, can I take the trash out tomorrow, Daddy? Now it's stinking now. Okay, it smells bad now, but can I take it out in the morning? You know, that type of thing. So we have to hold ourselves accountable, fellas,
Right.
and understand that time is of the essence. Is the way we used to say it. The way I used to hear it, time is of the essence, and you don't put off tomorrow what you can do today.
Right.
And so you do have to have some boundaries, I would think, in every area of your life. So when we talk about money, what are some of your boundaries?
You just can't be giving your money out for any and everything, especially if people are not trying to basically don't help people that ain't trying to help themselves.
Okay. When it comes down to your mind, what are your boundaries?
Gotta guard what comes into your mind, the foolishness that you accept, like the conversations, like gossip, backbiting, things like that. Don't be part of that.
Okay. On the social front, what are your boundaries?
On the what front?
Social, dealing with
Uh,
other people.
hmm. I don't know, man. Me personally, I try to stay away from environments that are not conducive to what like. I'm into. Okay, let me give you an example. Like ever since my grandmother passed, in 2020, like with my family, like her immediate like her grandchildren, my immediate cousins and things like that, we try to get together every 3 months instead of coming together for a funeral all the
Right.
time, right? So, and I ain't knocking nobody else if any of us partake, but I don't smoke or drink. I don't smoke weed, drink, none of that. And
Okay.
but they all smoke and drink. And
Right.
then they got this thing that they're doing now, mushroom juice. I'm like, first of all, like what is going on here? And then they spout all this this fake science in my mind, pseudoscience or what the benefits of it and like to what I'm saying, to indulge. And then, my aunt is an RN. She just retired last year. But me and her real close. Like she's my favorite person in the world.
Okay.
And they said I went and told on them. I'm like, yeah, auntie, they out there drinking mushroom juice and all that. I don't want to be over there. Now she tried to confront them about it without me like letting them know that I'm the one that said it. But they knew it was me because they know I'm the only one that ain't doing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't sit up under I love them, but I don't sit up under my cousins and them when they partake in things like that because that's
Okay.
not me.
Now I had never heard of mushroom juice.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This new thing, man. I'm like, wow. I'm like, when did we get doing this kind of stuff, man? We do everything that everybody else do now,
Okay.
and it's crazy. I think it's dangerous because I'm watching all of them interact. They had one dude, my cousin, her husband. He was on it. He was the grill man. He was in the corner like after doing the mushroom juice, standing up with his face against the wall, eating. I'm like, what is going on here? Then my other cousin fell out. The other one had to go sit in a van to stand. I say, man, this is crazy. I'm like, y'all want to do this kind of stuff, man? So I'm
Wow.
I'm the square now.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you. Mushroom juice.
Yes, sir. That's crazy.
Okay. Ain't no telling how they make that.
Right.
Brother Thomas, you ever heard of that?
Nah, that's new to me.
That's crazy, right?
I heard
Okay.
of micro dosing. I ain't heard of the mushroom juice. So I don't know
Man,
what
they
that
got
is.
they got whole big containers, almost like a milk jug full of mushroom juice. I'm like, man, y'all go kill yourself, man.
And you said they have micro what, Thomas?
Micro dosing. That's the only thing I heard of. I ain't heard of no
I hadn't heard
dose
that
of
either, but
mushroom juice.
I don't participate in it. So
It's a time thing. It's like they had a time in life where kids had markers and was licking toads and stuff, and
Right.
back in your day. So like every generation they got something crazy out.
yeah, that's true. I guess you're right. You're right. So what kind of boundaries do you have in terms of spiritually?
You say spiritually?
Yeah. if you had noticed, I'm taking you through all the 5 areas of your life.
Right.
Family, financial, spiritual, social, and physical.
And at one point, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't read, but I in my course of life I've studied a lot, and it led me to conclude it, everything that I read brought me back to myself and led me back to Christ, in my
Okay.
opinion. All right. So now when I talk to brothers, like people in general, not like the profane everybody, when they come with some awkward doctrine or something like that, I'm like, man, you searching for something, and when you really need to be looking inside, and this leads to my spirituality where I guard myself. I don't just entertain things like I used to. You know what I mean? Because of the path that I'm on now in my life. Because I, you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up like I was baptized as a Baptist, but my family converted to Jehovah Witness. But
Okay.
me being in the streets and things like that coming up, I was in the Nation of Islam when I was hustling and things like that in the street. So it was brothers in the Nation of Islam that used to come get me off the corner every day. So they're the ones that shaped my mentality about manhood and things like that. And matter of fact, I was like, what, 17, turning 18 at the first Million Man March, and I made it to that. But that started me on my path to where I am right now today, because when Minister Farrakhan was asking us to be assets to our community, I took it to heart, because I said I wanted to be a man that my son's mother could respect and a man that my son could respect. So there were things that I was learning from that led me to where I am. And like brotherhood, that was my first taste of real brotherhood. But my studies from reading the Quran and all of that led me back to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like I still read the Quran like for different little things, but the Bible is my volume of sacred law. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So, but before growing up, because everything like when we were doing the path to enlightenment, everybody was talking about, oh, not everybody, but people would say different things about different doctrines, and I'm like, man, and this is my term. I said, yeah, all that is sexy. It's foreign. So we participate in all that because it sound good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because what's actually good for you and the truth is not likable and it's not easy. I mean, it's easy if we put our mind to it, but it's not what everybody is doing. So that's the hard part. Nobody want to be the Christian, like in the school system. You know what I'm saying? They discriminate against the Christian, but they don't discriminate against Muslims and whatever. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So that's why like if you ever hear me, if anybody ever hear me say that, I say, yeah, we learn all this stuff because it sounds good, it's sexy to us, you know what I mean? It's foreign, it make us sound intelligent and
Well,
things like that.
sounding good, sexy, make you appear to be intelligent. Those are characteristics of the world, right?
Exactly. This Babylonian
Okay.
system.
And you can look it up, search the Bible, and find where we're told to be a peculiar people,
Yes, sir.
which means that we're different.
From the world.
Exactly. You are in the world, but you're not supposed to be of the world.
Right.
And there again, if you're going to do that, you got to have boundaries, and you have to use your time effectively, efficiently.
Yes, sir.
So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I'm going to ask you guys to invite every beating heart uh, that you know to this next Wednesday meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, it, all you got to do is be of legal age and be a man.
Yes, sir.
So I want this thing to grow so that we can really help one another and help some of the others. Okay. That we come in contact with or maybe see. I was talking to a guy today, and I was telling him about the Wisdom Wednesday meeting, and he's in Virginia. So he said definitely he want to be included, and he would try and get some of his lodge men involved.
Right.
So I got him on the list for next Wednesday to join in. And I don't know how many he's going to have coming with him, but hey, we need to increase our numbers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I send you the link, write a little note, send it to anybody in your phone. Well, all the men.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to say from 19 up,
Okay.
18, 19 up, because if we can get it to the youngsters, we can really make an impact.
Right.
If I don't know this stuff by now, I'd be considered an old fool. Y'all just fools. You got young fools, and old fools.
Yes, sir.
So, until we can push it down, get the information down to the youngsters and so forth, at least they will have heard it. Let's be serious for a minute. At least they would have heard it. They could never go through life saying, I didn't know, nobody ever told me. Because the objective of this whole process is to recapture manhood. That's what it's all about. And I met that, I came up with that phrase, I was given it, that how you do anything is how you do everything. So the bottom line is, once we start down this path and we get control of our vessel, then it's going to bleed over into everything else that we do, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, anything else? Brother Kelvin, how you doing?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good, good. Any comment?
No, not really. I was just listening to the brothers and listening to what they were expounding on, which is all good notes, very, very good notes. And it's funny that you mentioned time. I just had to do a essay for class about time management, and you write your schedule down, and first when you wake up all the way to when you go back to bed. And while I was doing the time management for the week, I noticed, man, I hardly get any rest. I noticed that from the time I wake up to the time I wake up, get dressed, do my prayers, go to work. Once I get off work, I go to class. Once I get out of class, I get home. It's already, like, I just pull up the house now, it's 9 o'clock, and I got to go in here and write an essay. So by the time I get through with that, my schoolwork and everything, it's already almost 12 o'clock. So I try to get a little more steady in the end, but man, be mindful of your time, brothers.
Yes, sir.
It's very important, not to occupy your time with foolishness, but occupy your time with something that's going to be growth and development, that's going to help you and your family in the long run. Because the more time we waste, and I notice we as African Americans, and we procrastinate a lot.
Yeah.
We really procrastinate, and we'll say, "Oh, well, I'll get to it next year," and then next year get here, and we still saying the same thing. Well, I'll do it next year, and before you look at it, you're 67 years old, and you're not physically able to do what you wanted to do in your 20s and 30s, and you miss out on that blessing or on that skill set that you might have had that could have made arrangements way better for you, and for boundaries, I feel like boundaries are very important. Boundaries let people know what you'll handle and what you won't handle. And I think we all put boundaries without saying words around individuals, whether they know it or not. It's an unwritten rule. You're not supposed to talk to me this type of way, or you're not supposed to talk to me that type of way. But where the challenge comes in with our boundaries is when we deal with family.
Yeah.
Because family, they feel like they can walk over every boundary you got.
Yeah.
And they feel entitled to that. And I think that's where a lot of confusion and turmoil come from, is that, like, hey, look, I'm not a little kid anymore. This is me. This is who I am. Respect that. If you can't respect it, then I'll move around. God said he made the earth spacious. So, I feel like some really great points were made tonight, and I commend you, brothers, for y'all diligent study.
Yes, sir.
This is like Wednesday is like my recharge day. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I get on here and listen to the brothers and hear what y'all say. And a lot of times, hey, we all go through the same thing day after day.
Yeah.
And, it's nice to hear that hey, you're not the only one going through it. Hey, this how this brother handled it. This how this brother handled it. Because we all have different approaches to different situations. But it's reassuring that, hey, look, I'm on the right path.
Right.
I'm headed in the right direction. You know, that it feels great to get a recharge every Wednesday and know that, hey, man, I'm not the only one still striving, still trying to walk that line, still trying to do the things that make us who we are. And I believe, man, I really believe getting on this call every Wednesday, man, we can't do nothing but blossom. Can't do nothing but blossom.
Let me ask you a question. It
Yes,
sounds
sir.
like you got a heck of a schedule
Yes, sir.
in terms of time. How do you feel physically?
Physically, I feel great. You know, I probably go to the gym at about 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight, go work out, do me a good hour, come back, give me some rest, go to work, do it again. I feel like I feel like this, Grant, and I'm not so much worried about rest because it's so much for me to do.
Mm.
And I feel like if I'm sleeping, I'm missing something, or somebody out there is up doing what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm sleeping.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, I can't sleep too much. I can't sleep too much because I feel like I'll miss that opportunity that God's blessing me with if I'm steady sleep. You know, because like I get on my stepson a lot because he'll go in his room and I brought, boy, you been in your room all day. What you been doing? Sleeping. You don't sleep your life away. You know, you gonna sleep through something that was meant for you. And
So how many hours of sleep a day do you normally average?
Maybe 3.5, maybe 4.
How'd you get to that point? And why?
In the morning, I like to read because I feel like everything I read in the morning, I understand it. It's like I get a clearer and better understanding. And I had read a book one time, and it says, great minds get up early in the morning and focus. And I started, and I was like, oh, they probably just something they put in the book to help them. and you know, I tried it. I say, well, it takes 21 days to break a bad habit. That's what they always say. It takes 21 days to break a bad habit. And I say, you know what? I'm going to incorporate this for 21 days and see how this works. The first week, I ain't going to lie, I was tired. I was about to give up on it. But during the course of that first week, I started seeing improvements. And I started seeing a better development of even the way I delivered my words, the way I interacted with other individuals. And I was like, man, maybe this is working. Maybe I'm on to something. And then I just started incorporating it every day, and I just made it part of my day to, hey, get up early.
Okay, excellent. So you don't worry about rest, and you're feeling pretty good.
Yes, sir.
And you have a hellacious schedule.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sounds like a winner. Any parting words, Brother Moore?
Brothers, they should have killed me when I was a puppy because now I'm a full-grown dog.
I like that one.
I haven't heard that one before. Well, we're going to do it again next week. And as I asked, tell everybody you know. Let's build it up. We want to build this up to the Manhood Unleashed conference that we're going to have around July.
All right.
Okay.
Here in Houston.
You sent out the list of the phone numbers for all of us that be on here?
I will do that.
Okay.
Okay. I will definitely do that. I'm going to send it to just the regulars, and I'm going to start those that I've sent the invitations to. They're going to be dismissed. or delete it. Okay, so this is the last one that I'm gonna send to everybody, and when I schedule the next Zoom meeting, it's gonna go out to the regulars.
Yes, sir.
So anybody you know,
Just
you
try.
will invite. You just give them the link, and we'll get the information.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, any comments, questions? Yeah, I know. We need to set up lunch, brother Shelvin.